Hello again. This is the All Pro Football 2K8 franchise, but this is the draft episode. This is the last episode in the off season. I was gonna do more episodes, but I had issues with the roster. But I finally got it working, and here's the draft. The original order is supposed to be the Ironmen, the Monarchs, the Hawks, the Guardians, the Redcoats, the Firebirds, the Seahawks, the Cowboys, the Hogs, the Cardinals, the Lions, the Seattle Sailors, the Wolves, the the Cavalry. Jeez Louise. Bears, Gladiators, Pats, Blackbirds, Eagles, Giants, Dragons, Raiders, Saints, and the championship winning Dolphins. But first pick, first of all, I should say, if there's a trade, whenever I get to the team that, gets the players who are traded and stuff, I will talk about them before the pick. And the Seahawks, they pick up a middle linebacker by trading up in the draft with the Ironmen, and they pick Ian Davidson, outside linebacker. He's a great linebacker with a great future in this league. Second pick of the draft, the Bears also trade up, and they get free safety Angel Givens. He's originally supposed to be a strong safety, but they move him to free. He's kind of slow, but he can tackle and he can hit hard. Hopefully this Bears defense can improve. A team that the Wolves and I hate the most, at least one of them at least, the Patriots. They trade up in the draft too, and this is scary. They get Bryce O'Connell, the best quarterback in the draft. He was going to come out last year, but he didn't. He played one more year, won a national championship, and he's one of the best pocket passing quarterbacks in the league already. The Guardians. They select wide receiver Quinn Hatchett. He is a good receiving threat, and his brother is also in the draft, but he's a guard. But Hatchett is the small younger brother. He has speed and he has great route running ability. Hopefully the Guardians offense can do a little better this year. They still might need a quarterback though. Next are the Dolphins. They trade up with the Redcoats and they pick what they really need, a tackle. Ryan Nash. Great silver tackle here with great pass block with less run block than usual. Firebirds, they draft the best middle linebacker in the draft other than Ian Davidson, Justin Jones. He is small at only 5'11", but he packs a punch with 97 tackling and 97 run coverage. He's an amazing inside linebacker and he has a great future. And now the Ironmen. The Ironmen, they got Efren McGill, D-tackle Marcinio Washington, and finally they get outside linebacker Sammy Kavanaugh. But the Ironmen, they end up picking free safety John Johnson. He is a former CB who was moved to free safety, and he has 89 speed with good coverage ability. Next are the Cowboys. They settle and get Amari Terrell, a great tackle prospect with super high run block, which is going to help out Francisco Baden and DJ Parker. The Hogs are miserable. They wanted to pick up either Tyler Nash or Amari Terrell in this draft. And they could get Thomas, who's a great tackle prospect in his own right. But they get Kobe Lubnow at guard because they're running up the middle every play. And you also see they got Warren Tanka. He was just released, so they picked him up. He will be their starting quarterback. But yeah, Kobe Lubnow, guard prospect they draft. He has really high strength and good run blocking, so he's exactly what they need. At number 10, the Wolves. They come up a few spaces and they get rid of Brock Crane and Colin Coons. You'll see that very soon. And they pick up a very scary player in Rashaw Gavin, a former outside linebacker turned edge threat who has 94 pass rushing and all the pass rushing abilities you would want. He's a great pass rusher, and this Wolves defense hopefully will be better this season. Next is the Lions. They select tackle Derek Lang. A lot of tackle prospects in this draft. Not very strong and has higher pass block than run block, but isn't really amazing. But hopefully the Lions will have more protection and actually be able to do something in this draft. And next, the Sailors. They select a genetic freak in a player, and his name is Marion Butler. His brother, let me look up his name. Marquise Butler is a wide receiver, but Marion is 6'10". He may not be the strongest, he may not be the fastest, but he has decent pass rushing skills all around. The Sailors have a stacked team, and I think they're just playing for the future. Next, the Cardinals. They got Coons and Brock Crane in the trade with the Wolves, and they draft a guard, Ray Cooper. Very good guard in general, just very strong, just a good solid guard. This might be the last year for Roger Huff, so maybe he'll get some good pass blocking for himself here. It looks like the Cardinals missed out on a great player because the Cavalry drafts Adam Thomas, one of the best tackle prospects in this draft, because he has 96 pass block with 72 run block with all the fixins. They got Bivens, Oscar Bivens, and they got Oscar Bivens and free safety Brendan Rawls, and they draft quarterback Alfred Blackson. He's a mobile threat, but he's not like kid franchise, but he's also not like anyone else really. He has 84 speed. He's still mobile enough. He's athletic with 76 break tackle, but his passing stuff is kind of average. But I think they're building for the future, and I think he's a great pick, especially with a solid defense to help him out. The Gladiators picked the best guard in the draft, and Frederick Hatchett, 96 overall. But here's the issue. He has 80 pass block, but 98 run block. I think people have been passing him up because everyone wants to start passing more. But the Gladiators actually passed a lot this past season. So just maybe they're trying to take the load off of Humes so they can actually run the ball more out of the gun. It's going to be very exciting to see what they do on offense. Next is the Hawks. They traded with the Pats and came back in the draft, and they picked up the best receiver in the draft, and Michael Ingram. Overall wise, he probably is still the best, but he's still a project player. He's very fast, very tall, but his route running isn't great. His catching is good, but could be better. He's a Randy Moss type player. He will go up over any CB in this league, any DB, any linebacker, anyone you can think of, and he will moss them. He will kill them. And it's a great pickup for this Hawks offense, who needs a deep threat. Especially because they had Thad Herman, who can just run the ball all the time. And in the trade with the Pats, they got Justin Atkinson. So Leno Geiger is not even going to be starting for them. So this is going to be very important to see what the Hawks do this season. Quarterback is picked by the Eagles here. And that's Sean Woods. Number 10. He's a pocket passer. He's not that amazing, but he's for the future because our current quarterback is getting old, and Sam Beard. He only has a couple more years left. The Blackbirds went back in the draft. They traded with the Eagles, and the Eagles just picked Sean Woods. The Blackbirds then got CB Benny McCombs and defensive end Jermaine Redmond, and they moved him to D tackle. Especially because they draft Johnny Draven. He is Myron Draven's brother, and he's an outside linebacker. Now the crazy part is some of his stats aren't great, like his tackles are really low, but he has 98 speed with 88 agility. But with no coverage skills, his tackle's kind of low. You would think he'd be a CB, but he's 6'7", 240. He's a massive human being. He cannot cover the run at all. He'll get smashed. But pass rushing, he's one of the best pass rushers already in the league, I can already tell. This Blackbirds defense is going to be even better in a 3-4. It's insane. The Giants pick next, and they pick Jeffrey Byram, a good coverage CB who's extremely fast with 95 speed. Next is supposed to be the Dragons, but the Hawks trade their DN Richie Anders, and the Dragons move him to D tackle. And the Dragons move out of the draft. And the Hawks end up picking up Von Bruce. Oh, I should also mention the Dragons also traded Brady Kuhn to them as well. Anyway, though, they draft Von Bruce here, inside linebacker. Great coverage stats for a linebacker. Kind of slow, but he's going to be really good for them. They really needed a linebacker. Next up, the Raiders. After some very surprising season, they go and draft Marquise Butler, a physical freak at 6'6". He's going to moss people like Ingram, but he's not nearly as fast or athletic. He's more of a diamond in the rough. He's a big project, but I think with the Raiders, how they're going so far, they're trying to win, and if they can get another receiving threat in there, that's gonna be great. Next is the Saints, and they go and they pick Kerry Vaughn, no relation to Brady Vaughn. He's a D tackle who's 307 pounds. He's a run stuffer, nothing crazy. He's a solid starter. And finally, the Redcoats. They traded with the Dolphins, and they got Junior Floyd and wide receiver Dennison from the Dolphins. But then, after this draft, they're going to then trade back Dennison back to the Dolphins for next year's first-round pick. So this team ends up picking up guard Daryl Scott. He's a bronze guard who is a very solid for a bronze. I think he's going to be a gem, and I'm excited for the Redcoats. Not really, though, because I feel like their team's going to be even better. And that is it for this draft. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.